Hello, everybody. Murhaba, Izmir. I'm very happy to be talking to you all here on Earth Day for the Fish Hackathon. I'm going to switch to my presentation to tell you what I'm going to talk about so you can follow through on my slides. So let's make sure that this is presenting to everybody. Just give me 1 minute. It's in the present to everybody mode. Okay. So you're seeing the slide which says, "Let Sudha talk." Patrick made that one, and I was pleasantly surprised to see that show up on Twitter and Facebook this morning. So thank you, Patrick. Thank you for arranging for me to be here, to be talking to this amazing audience. So I'm going to be talking to you today about underwater Internet of Things. So you'll find out what it is very soon. And I'm not going to talk about too many things. I'm just going to talk about two interesting concepts. So before that, for those of you who do not know who I am, I'm a technology futurist. I've written 3 different IoT books. My series is called IoT Disruptions. I also teach a IoT business course at Stanford for entrepreneurs and product managers to figure out how to take an IoT idea from a hackathon like yours, or from a pilot or prototype, and build it out into a real business. I do my research on IoT by hosting a weekly IoT show, which is live on YouTube. So you can check me out there too. And of course, the links at the bottom are where I live online. And I look forward to you all tweeting through these 2 days, so I get to experience what awesome, cool things are coming out from this Fish Hackathon. So before we go ahead, I want us to get to this starting point of my definition of IoT being a very limitless world. Typically, IoT is described as making everything around us smart by adding sensors and internet connectivity. My definition is go beyond that. Think about it as everything becomes connected and you're creating a whole new way of life. You're innovating and disrupting the entire society, jobs, and economies, and how we live. And when there are so many things around us that are devices, how does it change our interaction with machines? So think about that context, and then you will be able to come with amazing ideas which will change our way we interact with our ocean, marine life, with the earth. So in Fish Hackathon today, where is the data? It's about collecting the data and analyzing the data, making sense and creating value from the data. So the way I see it, there are 2 sources. One is all the existing knowledge that we have as humans about all the different species, about fishes, turtles, coral reefs, all kinds of, not just marine worlds, but we do have that about plants and bugs and everything else. For today's Fish Hackathon context, it is more about the marine and ocean world and the different ecosystems. What is dependent on what? What does the food chain look like? All this has been documented and researched over many, many, many years in different parts of the world. All that knowledge is one source of data. So a specific fish is called by a specific name. Goldfish is called goldfish. And all that information and the taxonomy is one set of data. The other one is where you're all here and you have said sensors. So you're going to dream up, where can I put these sensors? What can they measure? So all this data from all the sensors, tracking all these different animals, it's going to create this time series of huge volume of data. So those are 2 sources of the data. So I promised you I'm going to talk about 2 concepts. One is called eco-informatics. What is eco-informatics? Has anybody here learned or heard about the word eco-informatics? It is the first source of knowledge that I was telling you. The 2 sources of the Fish Hackathon. One, the global knowledge, but it's in a form as a data, in a searchable database. It's organized. So it's the global knowledge about all life on Earth. It's nicely organized as searchable data. So I have a reference here called eol.org. If you go there, you'll be able to search for any kind of species. You can look for everything that has fins, everything that lives in a certain temperature. You can organize, it's beautifully organized. So that is information about our ecology. So what does it tell us? That's interesting that all this information is organized. So I was lucky to meet this person called Orit Polian. He is based here in California. And in fact, he's actually a part of another fish hackathon happening in San Francisco today at many labs. And the EOL org that I was telling you about, they actually offer a research fellow called Rubinstein Research Fellow to 5 or 6 people. And he was one of them who got it in 2013. So I'm quoting him since he was the one who introduced me to eco-informatics. All this information of eco-informatics informs us about the various species, how they interact with each other. Food chain is just one example, right? Who is whose enemy? Who is whose friend? Who lives symbiotically with some other species? What is our interaction? And as humans, we go about cutting trees, creating, deforestation. We go, build out cities. We create climate change. How is that impacting all these species and their interaction and our ecology overall? All that information can be found from eco-informatics. So I wanted to come up with a list. Some of this has been done in the last few years of Fish Hackathon. Innovations of what you could do with the eco-informatics and IoT. One is, it's a recurring problem about measuring what kind of fish did a fisherman catch. This is true for most fisheries in the world. In real time, they want to find out, as the fisherman catches a lot of different fish, there are different types of fish. They want to keep an inventory on which fish was caught when and sort it and collect it. And the way they do that today is manual. They collect the fish, sort it, and then bring it offshore, and then they go through the sorting and classification and documenting somewhere. I remember in the early days, maybe 2007, with Twitter API, there's a group which went about creating some kind of sensor on the fish and making it tweet for different kinds of fish and then send it to the cloud to figure out what the data looks like. So they could actually collect that types of different kind of fish that was caught in a lat-long location out in the sea. I don't think that's a functional product. That didn't go far away. So the need is still real for fishermen to find a way to measure different kind of fish caught in real time. So IoT is so well suited for that. The other thing is the coral reef hotspot predicting was a project that was done in the Fish Hackathon last year. So basically, we want to understand where the different coral reefs are and predict it instead of just manually measure it everywhere, because they keep growing, so that we don't mess with them, right? So the other thing is you can add trackers, different sensors to various different fishes and other marine animals which are almost endangered, right? They're not extinct but close to extinction. So then track them and make sure that we save them, the last batch. Then the other thing is you study different ecosystems. How are they connected around the world? For example, I remember in Hawaii, in Big Island, there used to be this big volcano, and it's kind of died down, and the live volcano is just in one end of the island. But I'm talking about the dead part of the volcanic ashes area. There are donkeys. They're not even part of the ecosystem, but somebody brought them and then abandoned them. And so there are such animals which have come from human migration, which didn't belong in that ecosystem, and which just are wandering stray, or they just impact the whole food chain of that ecology. So like that, how are these ecosystems connected around the world? So if we start adding sensors to the marine animals and check who's interacting with who using the eco-informatics data, then you can actually create valuable information of how ecosystems are shifting. Are they being threatened? How are they connected across the world? There's so much data and insights to be drawn from there. And finally, the impact on global warming and marine life. So again, go back to your sensors that you're collecting today and find out, based on fishes moving around the waters across different regions, what happens as they face global warming. Is their movement changing over a period of time? So these are all some examples I thought I should share. And I'm sure everybody in here is going to come with amazing, amazing ideas way beyond what I'm sharing here. So I look forward to hearing that from you all. The second topic I was promising is called smart robotic submarines. They are drones. Who made them? What do they do? So there's a project called Sunrise, and it's done by a team of people. I know the main person called Chiara Petrioli. They have a team which is globally spread. It's in Italy, in Germany, Portugal, Netherlands, USA, and Turkey. Yes, I don't know where they are in Turkey, but they're somewhere. Maybe Patrick is so well connected, he'll find that out for us. So what these robotic drones, the submarines, are doing is they try to pretend like they are some form of marine animal. In this case, I think it could be a whale or a dolphin. And a bunch of these could go swim among the dolphins or the whales. And they came up, the project, Sunrise Project, experimented different form of communication and figured out that sound was the best form of communication inside water. That's why dolphins use that. So they basically came up with that, and these drones will pretend like they are another whale in the colony of whales, and they will mimic their sounds and collect the response of these animals. When do they make a sound like that? What frequency sound? Is there a difference in their voice stress levels? Are they communicating something different? And they capture all that information and help research and study these different animals as they move around in the beautiful ocean. This project started out sometime in 2014, so it's still, couple years, like less than 2 years, and we'll watch it. So the reason I wanted to share that here is, think about it. Don't think about just, if you take a sensor and you create a device by its standalone, it's as a small thing. There is vast volume of data with Informatics, and there are all these robotic submarines out there. So can you create something that will connect to these submarines, to these drones, to the vast Informatics, eco.org tables? Can you come up with something and just change the way we interact with Earth and protect it? So with that, I'm done. And I want to say, enjoy, go fishing, tweet me at Sudha Jamthe, and I look forward to hearing from you. And I really want to know what is happening in the next 2 days and what kind of apps are being built, and watch the tweet and get amazed and cheer for you. So thank you so much. Thanks, everybody. Bye now.